Do you struggle feeling uplifted and peaceful around certain people in your life? Do you feel as though something is off? You can't pinpoint it, yet you keep trying to make things work with the people in your life? Well, then this video is for you because I'm going over the various signs of toxic people, people with I'm starting not to like the word, although I say it often because that's what people understand, narcissistic tendencies. So I want to go over the signs of those people and what they tend to say so you can make an educated judgment on, do you want those people in your life? Do you resonate with them? Because some people do resonate with those kinds of people, believe it or not, and it's just shocking to me. Or is it time for you to leave? And if we're meeting for the first time, I'm Avi Unfiltered, spiritual medium and holistic health coach, just helping you live well through on a mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual level through nutrition, lifestyle, spirituality, and beauty. I'm also international best-selling author, blogger. You guys know I write all day, every day. I just love doing that. So, and also be sure to hit the notification bell, subscribe, and feel free to share. If you have comments, make sure that they are respectful. If you have any questions, and I will respond to those. So many times, someone with narcissistic tendencies, or they're just a toxic person, these people, they're not self-aware, number one. Some of them can be, so we're gonna go over the difference. Some people are not self-aware, and that's, a lot of people in society are not self-aware. They feel comfortable, they don't feel like they have to change anything, and so they end up being themselves, and while you're elevating, it causes a riffraff, right? Because they're fine being how they are. They don't see anything wrong, and I've seen that too. I've seen people who are okay with gossiping. I've seen people who are okay with just being stagnant in life. I've seen it all. Like, nothing's wrong with them. They don't want anything to change, right? And then you have people who are self-aware, but they don't want you to be self-aware of them, so they tend to project onto you instead of taking accountability. So for some people, it's very difficult to take accountability. And sometimes it's difficult for a lot of people to take accountability. It's all about when you're ready to, but a lot of times someone who's toxic or has narcissistic tendencies, they will end up blame shifting, blaming everything on you if you present an issue. And I've seen videos like this on TikTok that I've tried to share with someone, as you guys know, because they've been on my podcast, and it ended up turning into a blame shifting thing. When I say I don't talk to a lot of people that I used to, and a lot of people, sometimes in society, because you're so used to, it can't be a group of people who you don't gel with. It just can't be. Like, sometimes it can be, because when you're called out, when you're here to do a bigger purpose and you're elevating and you take time to work on yourself and heal, you're going to irritate people. And like I said, throughout life, I've always been the type to be the irritant in people's life just because I was different. I've always been different. I wasn't really someone who fit in, someone you could put in a box. And so it irked a lot of people. And later on in life, I've seen that it irked people that I thought were for me, but that they were against me because they didn't understand me, blah, 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 blah. And so I don't talk to hardly anybody. And if I do, it's for purposes that I have to talk to them, like business purposes or something like that. Something where there's like a lawful document to where I have to speak to them. Because if not, it would just be by. Like, I just changed my phone number and I'm going to change it again after I'm done. I'm going to change it again. And again, if I have to get another phone, you know what I mean? I like to start over, start fresh. I treat myself the same way. If I'm not taking accountability for something, I look at myself and say, okay, we need to fix this, we need to fix that. If I've been triggered by something that I should not have been triggered by, I always look at myself and say, a little touchy for no reason. So I'm like this with myself. I like to be blameless and harmless. I'm the type of person, I will apologize and mean it. Like, I won't repeat the same shit. But some people aren't like that. And you'll notice that with a toxic person or a narcissistic person, it's a circular thing. Like, they'll say, I've changed, I'm different, and they'll end up, it's the same thing. It's gonna be the same thing again and again. It's gonna be the same thing again and again. Okay? Now, if someone's like learning and they're just like really struggling with it, that may be different. But there's some people who just will tell you that they're changing because that's what you want to hear. And they know that they're the same. So I would send people like certain videos and say, hey, this is triggering because you did this. Like, it was a video of reactive abuse. And it's basically the person who wasn't in the wrong being constantly provoked and provoked and provoked by the toxic person or someone with narcissistic tendencies, and you see them blowing up in the video and now they look like the crazy person. And I've experienced that on various occasions where someone was even like, I'm gonna call such and such on you, and what if the cops come, and like all of this stuff. And or it's, or someone would hear me, they wouldn't hear the other person doing it, and so people would like gang up on me. Like, people didn't see what was going on behind the scenes. I was having to defend myself against groups of people. Wasn't in the wrong. But see, at the time, I didn't know about, that's why I follow certain people, because I didn't know about like narcissistic tendencies and all this stuff. I knew something was off. I was like, why am I always the one like reacting after? What is this person doing that it's causing me to react a certain way? And they give the silent treatment, or they do stuff to provoke. They know you want resolution, but they don't give you it. So it incites, some sort of argument. And then once you argue, then they'll have a smirk on their face, or they'll end up calling you crazy. And so that hasn't happened. I've distanced myself from people. I don't allow that in my world. I've seen even people that I didn't think were like narcissistic are. And some people will kind of fool you because they come off as very pleasant and very, oh, hi, how are you? And you end up having a conversation with them, and they end up wanting to do everything that you're doing. And you're just sitting there like, yeah, that's not normal to want to do. I've been exposed to that on several occasions. So you got to watch out for that too. That's a toxic person. If you watch Friends till the end, you will see what I mean. Friends till the End, 1997, Lifetime movie with Shannon Doherty. I swear those movies prepared me for later on in life. Like, you're not about to have me in that situation. This is why I don't have like too many friends either. I'm opening up more because I thank God for DMX. He said something so profound where he said, trust, because I had trust issues. Still do, a little bit. Not as bad. And he said, trust people. When he said this statement, it just opened everything up for me. He said, trust people to be themselves. And I was like, perfect. So it's not that you trust them to be loyal. You don't trust them to like, You don't trust them to be your bestie. You don't trust that they're gonna give you anything. You don't trust anything. You trust them to be themselves. You be yourself. You be your most authentic self. Let them be their most authentic self. Don't repaint them. Don't do anything. Let them be them. And you get to decide if that's what you want in your life. See, a lot of times we go into friendships or relationships or family ships, And we have expectations. Don't have expectations with people. Let people show you who they are. And then you make a judgment. And that's perfect for dealing with, certain people. Another sign of a so-called narcissistic person or toxic person is that they will do things wrong. They won't apologize to you. They will go on about their day. And that's why I tell some of my clients, I'm like, listen, go to bed. Because the person that did something to you, they're sleeping. It's funny, like people who do stuff and they're in the wrong, they just go to sleep on time. They're concerned about themselves. Sometimes toxic people will come into your life to show you that you have to be selfish sometimes with yourself. Drop a comment below if you struggle putting yourself first. If you're always concerned about giving, if you struggle with receiving, I would love to know that. And so you come across people like that. Like I said, Mike Myers, he walks around, I love that, Halloween. He walks around like waiting to unalive his next person, and then he does it again. He's not in his feels. But you're over here, screaming and crying and yelling, and he could give a F less, and so one of my clients laughed at that because whoever I came across, sometimes you feel guilty for what you did, and it's like the person doesn't feel guilty for what they did. And so sometimes you learn from toxic people. I always will transmute negativity. I went through a long period of, healing from toxic people that I thought would take, ages to heal from, because when someone's so close to you, it's like, oh, it's going to take a while till you realize you're meant to be on this planet to have peace, joy, love, harmony, and you tend to, it's a higher perspective you have to have. It's like, listen, I'm on this planet to be absolutely joyous, and you can either cry, which I've done as well. I've done that, because that's the fleshly experience that you're having. But then that spiritual experience takes over, and you're just sitting there like, I could transmute this now because they're gone. I can allow more beauty into my life, and I can also see what I need to work on too as well, so I don't repeat the same mistakes with different people, so I don't keep attracting the same, energy vampires or narcissistic people or people who are going to project, their toxicity BS onto me, and I've come across that. Another time I was exposed to, another sign I should say, is when someone brings up your past in front of other people. And this was a relative of mine that did that. We were at a party, and I used to do toxic substances and smoke, different things. And in front of other people just brought up like, remember when you used to do this? And I'm just like, it's a sign. That's a sign of toxicity. It could be a sign of jealousy as well, because people like to make you look worse than them. It kind of reminds me of 27 Dresses, that scene where she liked the guy her sister was getting married to, and that was kind of, even though that's a favorite movie of mine, that scenario is kind of weird because I wouldn't want someone my sister was with. I don't keep it in the family. Even if I don't talk to you, it's just like, I don't want anybody's seconds. Barf. Like, ew. I think it's my Leo placements. I'm a Cancer sun, but I have Leo placements. I like my own shit. Like, I don't like to share. And Scorpio placements. So it's like, I'm hogging you. You're not going to anybody else. I'm just kidding. But anyway, kind of. So in that movie, she just exposed her sister at her wedding. You know how they have like a little gathering before the actual wedding, and they reminisce and all this stuff. And I was, she was jealous. So she showed her jealousy by doing that. And people tend to do that. And, it's all about looking in the mirror and taking a deeper look as to why you act a certain way towards people, And sometimes people will say, well, people leave your life because it's you. You're the problem. I'm absolutely the problem. I'm absolutely the problem. And I'll tell you why. I have decided to elevate. I've decided not to take people's BS. I've decided to see people for who they really are. And I've decided what I will allow in my life and what I won't allow in my life. Like I said, you're able to have a conversation with me, and I'm able to say, you know what, that was wrong of me to do. I'm a very fair person when it comes to myself. I try to be like that when it comes to other people. And I've come a long way trying to understand, like, people don't function like you. So I have given a little bit more leeway, a little bit. But when it comes to emotional protection, which I know we have to have of ourselves, and mental protection and not crossing someone's boundaries, that's when you get cut off. Because like I said, safety is huge for me because I'm a very grounded person, very down-to-earth person, very empathetic person. If, you're genuine, I'll be empathetic to you. And so when you're surrounded by people who they could, care less about your mental health and your emotional health, and they're just the kind of person to say, well, it's one thing you have to have a balance between tough love with yourself and also harmonious love with yourself. Sometimes it's, like I was saying on my podcast the other day, which is up on all channels, everywhere you listen to podcasts, it's up there, the latest episode. So I was saying yesterday when I recorded the podcast, what did I say? Now I lost my train of thought. But anyway, go watch the episode and see what it says. See what it says on there. Because I lost my train of thought. But you can go and listen to it. I'm trying to think of what that's what I said. So I was telling people to get their ish together. Sometimes you gotta be like that. Other times you gotta let yourself process emotions and regulate them. And then other times it's just meant for you to take action. You just have to observe, how your spirit is flowing. But some people just always are in the mindset of, okay, just get over it, and everybody doesn't function like that. So a toxic person or someone with narcissistic tendencies tends to, because it's a personality disorder, they tend to see things from their mindset versus your mindset. And it's all about, we need to see each other's mindsets. You can't always have it like your way. And that's why I say, some people like to deal with people like that because they're similar, and some people don't. For me, I may not need you to like cry all the time, but I'm the type of person who likes empathetic people, likes people who get emotions, but can also be like, intellectual and figure out a solution to the problem. Because if you're someone who doesn't understand emotional regulation and how that functions and how that plays a role in healing and up-leveling, then you're gonna have to enlighten me on how you function. And it's, people do function differently. We're not the same. That's what I was telling people with the they have the abortion thing now. I tell people, listen, we're not all the same. We're not all going to think the same. We just need to accept that not all of us are going to think the same. Instead of getting people to think the same, you got to come with facts. And see, that's what I'm saying. There needs to be a balance of facts and emotions. Emotions are energy in motion, so it's all about transmuting, because emotions are changeable, so it's all about transmuting those energies into something more positive, coming to a conclusion, coming to a solution. And the solution that's best for your emotions as well as your logic is in terms of toxic people or narcissistic people. Well, let's see. If you have toxic people around you, and let's say you're a logical person, you're a business person, you're really business focused, and you have someone that's trying to drain you and pull you down with their negativity, you're just going to cut them off. There's not going to be really emotions. You're just like, oh, you got to go. So someone who's emotional will feel that this person is toxic, maybe have some sort of pain or some sort of something like alert that says, nope, they have to go. But either way, you both know that that person has to go out of your life because it's not serving you. Like I said, I've come a long way. I've had a great deal of certain issues and that's why I help people. That's why I'm a mental health, advocate. But when you've been exposed to people with warped minds, like I have on several occasions, and they just think the way they function is good and it's okay, it makes you feel uneasy. But then you realize that you don't have to feel uneasy. You could just get away from them, and invite newer people. For me, like I said, sometimes there needs to be a balance between meeting new people, and letting them in, letting new friends in. I used to have, like I said, solid friends in high school, and then I drifted off because I went to church and I took that scripture, be ye not unequally yoked. We weren't on the same page, so I stopped talking to them. I was in the church for several years, and then once I got out, it was I almost forgot how to have friendships and stuff. People in the church and in other churches even, where I just saw fakeness across the board. People are so fake. I've seen more fake people in religious facilities than anywhere else. Trust me. So. But anyways, everyone's church is different. This is just what I've seen. Is a lot of fakeness, a lot of gossiping, a lot of terrible stuff. People talk so much to where they don't even know they're defaming your character by opening their mouths and talking so much. And it's just and then you wonder why stuff isn't working out for you, because you talk too much. Some people talk too much. And like I said, I see people every 2 weeks that I've been dealing with for several months, almost a year actually, that I've met, and it's been consistent, solid. There's been no issues at all. And so I like to have, do I have close people like that? I hope that I do meet some more that I can call at 2 a.m. and talk if I needed to, or 1 a.m. or, people that I used to think I was able to call that way were gossipy and not real. So, or they flip, it's one day, and I can't stand that. One day they're good and they're balanced. I know some people have, could be moody or have mood swings. I went through that as well, especially being sick and just life in general. When you deal with so much trauma and you're trying to balance yourself, so naturally you have mood swings. But I was pretty balanced around other people. You guys already know I'm very transparent about that. I've had to cut certain people off and during times, and I used to be very triggered, so I just would cut people off because that's how I had to heal, so I did what was best for me. But you come across people who it's they're fine one day, and then the next day comes and it's well, I thought you weren't going to do that again. You said you weren't going to do that again. Now you're doing it again. You know what I mean? And it's something that it's like you're being lied to. So I don't like being lied to, and I don't like lying to people. I mean, unless you have to, just like what story in the Bible with Rahab, when they were going to come take someone she loved, she lied and said they weren't there. You know, there's certain situations where you have to, or you don't tell the whole truth because you're not close to those people. You know, the majority of the time, telling the truth should be A1, I heard. I don't know. Should be in the forefront. So, but you gotta let people just, I love coming across people on TikTok who are like, I moved away from my family and I moved away from this person and I started over, and because I know that they weren't to blame. And sometimes people it always has to be, well, if it's one person, then you're the problem, instead of realizing maybe all of you are the problem, because why the hell are you ganging up on one person? Why don't you get along with that one person? It's not always, like I said, you are the problem because you don't fit in. And so you'll be a target. And I've seen that too. I've seen it online where people just like to point out one person. And it's just like, why are they always the problem? They're the problem because you really wish you were like that person. You know, and sometimes that's it. So, because people have said that to me, you're gonna be alone, you're gonna always be alone, no one's gonna want to deal with you, you're gonna be alone. You know what I'm saying? If you have children, they're not gonna want to deal with you. Like, I've heard so much stuff that doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I'm never alone. You know, I help a lot of people. Creator, Spirit, and Angels leads, guides, and directs me. And whoever said that, Saturn retrograde. So be careful that you're not alone. You know what I'm saying? Being alone doesn't frighten me because I'm used to that. I've gone on sabbaticals. I've done so many fasts. You know, I know how to get breakthroughs. I know how to be by myself because I've had to do that to heal. I've had to get in my own arena. A lot of people didn't know what I was healing from. You know, I've had to do that. So I hope this video helped you figure out who's toxic, who has narcissistic tendencies. Someone said they didn't like the label narcissist. This is on TikTok because it really is a lower vibration, but you also have to understand that some people like to vibrate low, and narcissists, they don't like labels, which is weird to me. You can always spot someone who doesn't like the label. If someone was to call me a narcissist, I would be like, I wonder how I am. And I would go and research it and say, oh, how can I be less of that kind of person? Nothing bad affects me because I was the type of person, even when I was in high school, I was like, oh my God, let me go and research borderline personality disorder because that's how I act. I can go from playing violin to doing drugs. You know what I'm saying? I was confused myself. I was like, we're like different people, you know? And I loved living on the edge. Like whatever was dangerous was fun to me. I've been in some dangerous situations. Like that time I remember I went with one of my friends and the guy gave her a tat. Didn't know whose house this was. It was a trap house as far as I'm concerned. Didn't know who he was. He didn't have an eye. It was like a glass over. He comes with a pill. What is it? And it has like tattoo ink in it. And tattoos her and does an amazing job. But we were Park Street, Hartford, Connecticut. If you know that area, then you know it was just not the place to be. We were always told don't go there because it was a lot of drug activity at the time when I went. And she got I didn't end up getting it, but I always liked living on the edge. That's what felt comfortable to me. You know, and so I always evaluate myself, and that's how I healed from certain issues that I was dealing with, by looking it up and saying, okay, well, first admitting this is what I have, this is how you heal from certain symptoms. I used to go from 0 to 1,000, and you know, there's various, you know, things that I had to get through, and that's why I have my book. I made it out. You know, you can read more about that in there. The link will be in the description box below. I get confused when I say description box or show notes, because the show notes are for my podcast. Description box is for YouTube. So you can read more about that in that book. So I hope this helped you. Like I said, loverly peacefuls, and I will see you in the next video, which will be next time. Hopefully next time if I record it, because next week is birthday. My birthday's coming up, so my birthday's coming up. New number. I'll probably get happy birthdays from people online. Which is, I'm glad. You know, you meet new people and better vibrations. I'm fine with that. Do not contact me. We're done. I'm done with, if you know, it's a done deal. It depends on like what you did. You know what I'm saying? You know, I have Libra in my chart, so gotta balance the scales and see what you did. All right, loverly peacefuls. See you in the next video.